Hey everybody, it's Matt here, and today we're doing another episode of a Toku Station. And if you are watching this through our YouTube channel, then yes, I am shaved Matt. For those of you listening in on our Podbean, I don't have a beard, so I am shaved Matt. I am baby Matt. I'm the baby from I don't remember the baby's name, but it was the one from Go-Go 5. I am that baby, and for my family who knew me when I was such a wee little one, they would probably describe me as that as well. Also, so some good news. We have some very interesting stuff to talk about today. We actually have some follow-ups to stuff that we talked about last episode that I said maybe I would kind of throw into that episode if I had the time, but I did not. So we're talking about it now, better late than never. So we're talking about the Ultraman Z press conference. Also, some new stuff for Super Sentai, some stuff that I think some of you out there might not have expected, but actually I called it, interestingly enough, and also some Mill Creek Ultraman releases. So before we get to that, some bad news. I sprained something in my shoulder blade to my neck. So if I'm moving weirdly or out of nowhere, I just start to slump back, and I'm just like, I'm feeling better in this nice little office chair. If anyone asks you why, they say, well, how did this happen to Matt? Well, you tell them that he is the TokuDragon, so he actually saved not just the world, but the universe from an evil alien monster attack. But between you and I was stretching while laying down, and that's literally it. I can't tell you why. It just, pain shot up right through, that's off camera, shot up right through my shoulder blade up to my neck, and this hurts a lot. So if I seem off in this episode, any more off than usual, just blame that. But again, if anyone asks you, I saved the universe, because that's just, I'm TokuDragon. I mean, why would I not do that? But either way, let's talk about our first story, which is the Ultraman Z cast presentation. So I talked about this last time. I said that I didn't know if it was going to be a social distancing edition, and it was a press conference which had the main director and story creator meet up with the cast virtually. So the main director / story creator, by the way, being Kiyotaka Taguchi, and looking at the main cast here, we have Koshu Hirano, who is playing Haruki Natsukawa. We also have Takaya Oyagi, who from Ultraman Orb, playing Shota Hebikura. Also Jun Hashizume, playing Kojiro Inaba. Rima Matsuda, playing Yoko Nagashima. And Rihito Noda from Kamen Rider G.O., playing Shinya Kaburaga. And also Hisashiro Ogura from Kamen Rider Wizard, playing Director Kuriyama. Now, not just... So that's all nice and dandy, but... I also want to talk about the fact that they actually released a type of, it's called, in the article, which is linked down below, it's called the Ultraman Z special movie. It is a YouTube video that, by the way, is fully subtitled. So there are English subtitles that Subudaya released. So I don't know if they're actually working towards putting this out on a service like Crunchyroll or some other streaming service. That would be very interesting, but it is subtitled, which is pretty cool. So the video gives a short, according to the article, gives a short introduction to the series story, which sees Haruki merge with Z after being injured piloting the giant robot Sevengar, or Sevenger. And also, by the way, we end up seeing Ultraman Geed appear, which is very interesting with the same actor, but it's interesting because of the fact that that has been released by Mill Creek fairly recently, so on Blu-ray with the movie. So I'm wondering if there's some coordinating being done, maybe trying to kind of acclimate the US fans to legal Ultraman on Blu-ray. I mean, I'm pretty sure it was streamed somewhere else as well, but still trying to kind of have some corporate synergy going on. I know that, Mill Creek is Mill Creek, Subudaya, but I do wonder if there's some coordinating being done there in some form or another. But again, that's just pure speculation on my end, but it's just very interesting that we end up having a series being released the same year, a new series being released very close to its Blu-ray counterpart in the US, and now that character cameos in the new show. So I'm just saying. Either way, though, you actually... Oh, wow. I saw some of this. I now realize it's all coming back to you now. I saw some of this, the transformation sequence on social media, on Twitter, because people were clamoring over. A friend of mine sent this to me, actually. They said to me, they said, Matt, this seems up your alley. And I said, oh, it definitely is. But I didn't realize it was actually from this. Looking at the transformation device, that's kind of why it's like clicking in my head as I'm talking about this. Because I have yet to see the video, sadly. But again, it's available on YouTube. Will be in the article that's linked down below. And this is the Ultra Z Riser, by the way. That's the new transformation device that you should go buy today, or whenever it's available in your import shop near you, assuming you're a US fan watching this. By the way, the theme will be sung by Masaki Endo and Nami Tamaki. Masaki Endo. Oh, that's going to be good. It's going to be so good. Well, okay, they'll be performing the show's opening and ending themes. I should clarify here. Chant My Name and Connect the Truth. And they were also interviewed and talked about their joy in being able to participate in the Ultra series. But oh my god, Masaki Endo. So by the way, Ultraman Z will be premiering, I mentioned this last time, on June 20th, specifically at 9 a.m. on TV Tokyo. For any of you that are listening to this from Japan, I don't believe there's a large amount of you, but if there are, well, now you know. So I want to wrap this one up talking about something I talked about last week. It's a bit of a downer, but I don't know. I didn't want to talk about this in the middle and then kind of try to be hyped after talking about this. But last week I talked about the show's head writer, Kota Fukihara, passing away at the age of 37 due to a brain hemorrhage. And they talked about this on the presentation. Of course, you can't shy away from that. I talked about it last week, and it really struck a chord in me because with everything going on in the world right now, having it be a brain hemorrhage and also me being 27, thinking about, wow, in 10 years, something like that happened to me. I mean, it just threw me for a loop. Reading that story and reporting on that story. And again, they mentioned it in the press conference, and they mentioned specifically this was the director talking about how the two knew each other for about 2 years, and Fukihara had spent the last 10 months working on scripts for the show. Taguchi has previously mentioned the show's ending was written before everything else, so that they could have a clear understanding of where the story is leading towards, which, just as a side note, that actually makes me happy. Just as someone who watches, tokusatsu and has watched tokusatsu for the last, for the last 12 years now, right? 11-ish years now. You get worried when you see a show and you look at the beginning and you look at the end and you're like, I don't think we were supposed to get here this way. I mean, obviously I'm not looking at any like backstage stuff or whatnot, behind the scenes stuff, but just watching a show from beginning to end, sometimes you look at the end of the show and you're like, I don't know, man. And then you end up hearing some stuff that, they were kind of derailed due to X, Y, or Z reasons. So hopefully, I'm happy to see that. I'm not saying it's going to be the best ending ever, but it's still nice to see that they had a clear ending in mind when writing this show. Also, the rest of the cast had mentioned, and staff, that they are working hard to deliver Fukihara's message through the show to its fans, hoping that their efforts to make the show a success would also reach Fukihara in heaven. So, just hopefully, it was a bit of a downer, but hopefully that last little bit raises our spirits a little bit, and, we can move on with the rest of the episode. But before we move on to our next story, if you're watching through our YouTube channel or even listening in through our Podbean, by the way, those guys on the radio, please comment down below some of your thoughts on this press conference, what I've talked about so far, and if you got to see the special, the Ultraman Z special movie, as they're calling it on YouTube, what were your thoughts on it, and are you hyped to see Ultraman Z? And where would you like to see it? I mean, potential streaming service, whatnot. Maybe it ends up getting put on Blu-ray by next year or something like that. I don't know. I mean, I would prefer streaming service first, just to hopefully if it's coming out while the show is airing in Japan. But yeah, I'm very curious to see what they're going to what to do with this series. So either way, tell me what you think about all of this stuff down in the comment section down below.